Hi, everybody. I'm Spider Jones, and thank you so much for inviting me to speak at your uh, community convention. And especially hello to all the Leos out there. I am a member of the Lions Club, at least I was until I reached a point where my own Spider's Web Youth Empowerment Center began to take so much of my time. But I've always admired the Lions Club for the service that they give to the community. And I especially would like to address the Leos here because one of the things that I think is very important in our evolution and our growth are having great mentors. And for the Leos out there, remember, these mentors are right there with you, the lions of the club. I want to talk specifically about uh, pursuing dreams and bringing them into reality, and how that happens through uh, believing in yourself. Let me begin with this. When I was 15 years old or 16 years old, as many of you are, if someone would have approached me and said, "Hey, Spider Jones, do you know one day you were going to interview a former president of the United States? You were going to interview perhaps the greatest heavyweight champion that ever lived, Muhammad Ali. You're going to interview Tina Turner. You're going to interview world leaders. You are going to have a bestseller." I would have thought, get back, you're out of your mind, dude. And I'll tell you why. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I had what it took. Yes, I had dreams. As a matter of fact, I knew at 10 years old what I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be a radio broadcaster. Forget all the boxing stuff. Forget the Golden Gloves. Forget about the fact that I had the opportunity of sparring with some of the great professionals. The fact is this: I never had a passion to be a fighter. It became a lifestyle, which still serves me well because through boxing I learned all about self-discipline. As a matter of fact, boxing to me is a metaphor for life because all the great champions that I've met and interviewed over my years in radio, the one thing they all had in common, you could knock them down, but they got back up and into the fight. I mean, greats like Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, all the greats were down. The only fighter I know that was never knocked down is George Chuvalo because he had a chin. I mean, 97 fights, he never got knocked down, but most of them have. But the fact is, they got back up and into the fight. That's why I use boxing as a metaphor for life. When things are tough, don't let that stop you. Mistakes are only mistakes if you don't learn from them. If you continue to make the same mistake, then you've learned nothing. Let me go back to the fact that boxing was a lifestyle to me, but music was my opium. Music, I wanted to be a radio announcer from the time I was 10 years old. I knew what I wanted to be, but it took me 30 years. You hear me? 30 years to arrive to bring my dream into reality. Why? Well, first of all, I did not have a game plan. You must have a game plan, number one. Number two, I didn't understand about sacrifice, what it took. My father used to have an old saying when I'd run around and, "Hey, whack, whack, I'm going to be the heavyweight champion of the world, or I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that." My father would look at me and he'd laugh and he'd say, you know, son, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. I didn't get it at the time what he meant by that. Translation, what he meant was everybody wants the good things in life, but they're not willing to pursue them and to sacrifice for them. You've got to be willing to sacrifice. You have to have a game plan. You got to be willing to sacrifice for your dreams. And number three, and most important, you got to believe you're worth your dream. You've got to give yourself permission to pursue your dream. You don't need anybody else's approval, but you do need your approval. That was my biggest problem. Why do you think it took me 30 years to bring my dreams into reality, to get my own radio show and to go coast to coast like buttered toast? You know why it took me so long? Because I didn't believe I was worth my dream. I didn't believe I had what it took. If you don't believe you're worth it, who else is going to believe you? If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? There are way too many of us out there who put on the swagger, but underneath we have no self-esteem. We have a low opinion of ourselves. And the one thing I've learned over the years, interviewing so many of these great people, these extraordinary people, they were not born extraordinary. Let me tell you something. If you stop and think, Oprah Winfrey, the most influential woman on earth and one of the richest, do you know what she came from? She came from poverty. I'm talking about dirt poor poverty in Mississippi, and her bedroom floor was made of dirt. They told her when she wanted to get into radio that it was a male's game. There was no place for women. It didn't stop her because she knew what she wanted. And then when she decided to go to television, you know what they told Oprah? You don't have a face for television. She didn't listen to them. She continued to pursue her dream. She kept her eye on the prize, and she pursued it because she believed she was good enough. You've got to believe that you can achieve. My problem was I grew up very poor. 5 children in one bed. We were very poor. We lived in a rat-infested 2-bedroom house during a time when racism made us feel like we were inferior. You know what I've learned in life, though? It doesn't matter where you come from. It does not matter where you come from. It's where you're going that counts. You've got to believe to achieve, which is why I began this organization and opened the Spiders Web Youth Empowerment Center, so that we can empower young people to believe in themselves, to believe you are worth your dream. And Leos, I want to tell you something, and you listen to me. And I get excited and animated because I know you have dreams. We all have dreams. If these dreams are reasonable and you want to bring them into reality, set up a game plan. Seek out mentors. They're all around you in the Lions Club. They're all there waiting to help you. That's the advantage you have over others. Because the Lions Club does so much for the community. It's all about volunteering yourselves, giving of yourselves. You're with a wonderful club. But I don't have much time left. I know they only gave me 20 minutes. But I want to leave you with a couple things. Life hands you fate, as it did me, as it did many. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had a learning disability. I failed grade 3. I failed grade 4. That was back in the days when they would fail you. I have a learning disability. I do not process information at a regular as regularly as other young people. They put me in a remedial grade 5 for slow learners. The rest of the kids called it the ding dong class. And they made fun of me. So I had all this self-hatred, and I didn't think I was worth anything. In this class, all they taught us about was making wallets or making ashtrays out of wood. They didn't expect much of me. When I finally went back to school at 34 years old, it was out of desperation, because I always wanted to be a radio broadcaster, and it just haunted me. I wanted it so badly. And I finally went back to school, and I had to go into a college prep, and I really didn't want to do it. I was frightened. I didn't want to fail again. I was used to failing. I had never did well academically. But I had a few people that believed in me, and 2 of these teachers became my mentors. And these 2 mentors inspired me so much, and I began to learn that, yes, I have a learning disability. I'm no Sherlock Holmes. I'm no Rhodes Scholar. But I know how to work hard. And if I applied that kind of effort into this as I did when I boxed for the Golden Glove fights, I had a shot. And once I began to get the flow, I realized I had a couple gifts. One was writing, and the other was my knowledge of music. And so at 38 years old, I got my first gig in radio, and I haven't stopped since then. I'm in my 70s, and I'm still going strong. I'm writing my second book called The Predator Within. The Predator Within is a psychological monster that fills your head with toxic thoughts and takes away all your hopes and your dreams. Don't let it get to you. You've got to believe to achieve. And remember, nobody is born extraordinary. The extraordinary you hear about are people that put forth an extraordinary effort. Remember that. Enjoy the rest of your convention. And once again, I am so honored to be able to speak to the Leals and the Lions Club. Have a great day. And remember this, life hands you fate. Destiny is what you do with it. You can be the hero of your own story. You can turn the page. You can make that happy ending. You are the author of your fate, and don't you ever forget that.